Good morning, afternoon, even. That's the one. Good afternoon. We got
Every
that
time.
every time. Oh. Let me just kill the Discord video bit there. Oh no, we've lost Luke's image. No. Is it gonna be on the split screen? Let me see. Let me see. Is it gonna be there? It's just not. It's just not working. It's just not working.
uh,
God damn it. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. My name is Graham Day, and welcome to the scoop. Let me just go to that one. There. Okay, I'll just put me on screen for now. I'm just going to try and tweak things. So anyway, this is Ice Cream. My name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by a man that they call Jeroen, a man that they call many things, but not always to his face.
yeah.
Generally.
When they're feeling at the kindest, Jiroon. We'll leave it at that.
Exactly as I said. That is Luke, and I am joined by audio purposes this afternoon. It's the afternoon. I was on form until that kind of went kaput. So anyway, long story short, you may be used to me doing this with Bib. Obviously, Luke does jump on the scoop pretty often as well. This is his first remote one since we've started doing the show remotely, though. Bib is busy, so we've looped Luke in. Jeroen is on fire. So yes, Luke is here. However, Luke does not have a camera today, so I think I'll probably just keep it on this screen that I have on for the moment. Then, yeah, essentially that is the gist of things. Let me just tweak things over here. Then there. I don't know. Will see what I tried to do is I had a picture of Luke's face, but it was not working. Do you know what? Let's ask Luke some questions for filler content, and then I will try to get his face back on screen. So anyway, Luke, how was the weekend? Did you have a good weekend?
It was, I mean, as eventful as you can imagine, given the current situation. As in, not at all eventful. But yeah, it was literally filled with exciting things like a walk to Sainsbury's, and playing a lot of video games. Which, come to think of it, is probably pretty much how I'd spend most of my weekends anyway. Locked indoors, going out shopping just when I need to, and then spending all the rest of the time playing games. And this time it was 2 Point Hospital that I've been kind of getting stuck into, probably because I've got health stuff on the mind a lot at the moment, given everything. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Hey, there we are
There we go. There we go.
on screen.
Nice and sultry, fully Agent 47 out. But there we go. Mr. Tanvir, good morning, even afternoon. God, that's 3 times already. I was on form on Friday. I knew that we weren't live in the morning anymore, but Bibby was the one dropping it. And now this morning, I get a couple of pictures wrong, and that's it. My brain's fried. But anyway, good afternoon, Mr. T. How the devil are you,
Hello.
sir?
Yeah, maybe we should just do like maybe should just be our catchphrase, like good morning, good evening, afternoon, and we just say that all the time anyway.
That's kind of how I've been starting this scoop anyway, because I was having a conversation with the Bib, so I go, good morning, welcome to twitch.tv/ice cream uploads, but then I was like, actually, say good morning, but people could be watching this on demand, and then it might not be morning, it might be good afternoon. So I said good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this, if you're watching it on demand. We are live on twitch.tv/ice cream, so I've gone that way, but yeah, the camera image thing being thrown off completely screwed with my mind, and yeah, there we go. But anyway, weekend for me consisted of a little bit of a stroll, some shopping, finishing Resident Evil 2 ahead of starting Resident Evil 3, and burgers, barbecue burgers. So yeah, it was
Lovely.
a decent enough
So
weekend.
has Bibby kind of got you more into Resi, or were you
Uh,
always into Resi anyway? Or
I've played bits, but I was never really being into Resi. So it was kind of Bib's kind of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back and play Resident Evil 4 or 3 or whatever," and I was like, I'm not one for going back and playing games that haven't aged well. And the thing with playing older games that you haven't experienced the first time around, you don't always have the full um, appreciation for what you're playing. So if you played something that's really old and then you play it again, you play something new and play it again 20 years later when it's quite old, you appreciate the reasoning for the mechanics. Whereas if you just play something old for the first time 20 years later, you don't necessarily have that full appreciation. So I try not to play many old games. On the flip side, I could play Metal Gear Solid 3 all day, every day on different handheld devices and stuff like I have done. I've played through it on my Vita and co. But yes, I was never bothered about starting Resis until Bibby gave me Resident Evil 2 for the PS4. Played through that, badass, and now have Resident Evil 3 ready to go. So yes.
Yeah, I've not touched one, honestly. Maybe I should. Maybe I should at least get like demo or something. Just give it a try.
Well, I have Bibby's disc, so in about 56 weeks, when we can finally interact in the same room as other people, then I will give you Bibby's disc without his approval. It's fine. It's fine.
That's great.
All good says, asked him strangely enough, off this week. Ah! Oh, well, we were just having conversations because Luke is obviously filling in for Bibby, but we didn't think about the camera situation to the last minute, which is why we have static face on Luke there. We're thinking... do you know, actually, maybe we should... We've been talking about having guests on the show for a while, and you actually did come across my mind, but it was like 15 minutes before I go live, and I thought, well, that's a bit of stress. Are you free? Yeah. Would you like to jump on? Yeah. Can you do it in 15 minutes? Oh, so yes, Mr. T, if you are free at all, then maybe we can loop you in to do some work on the week off from working. Yeah. Finished Resident Evil 3 and now started Final Fantasy 7 Remake. What do you reckon of Resi so far? Then I did see some quite mixed opinions on it from what I saw. Like Resi 2 was a unanimous, okay, this is Game of the Year conversation, whereas I'm pretty sure I saw some scores in the mid end of the middle of the spectrum. Resident Evil 3 Metacritic. Resident Evil 3 for PS4. 81. Ooh.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy 7, 87 so far. Well, we'll have to obviously bring up the sheet at some point, the Metacritic score sheet or whatever. I don't know whether Bibby's got that, if that's something for another stream, but...
Yeah, we usually give a game at least 2 days post-launch, so if,
makes sense, yeah.
I mean, I suppose it has had 2 days now because it came on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so technically we could do today, but honestly, I don't know where that sheet is, so we'll wait for Bibby for that one. That's fine.
Yeah.
Although I think I may have overestimated. Excuse me. I think I marked Resident Evil 3 as a lower score than Resident Evil 2 because I expected it to be tinged with the it's more of the same. Rather than a sequel that improves on the earlier kind of thing, so I thought it wouldn't score as highly. At least that's what I think I would have done. That's what I would do now. But whether I did at the time, because I was just kind of looped into the studio and give me scores. I was like, oh fuck, 12.
Yeah, I feel like I had that logic with, I think it was Animal Crossings, and then obviously that ended up getting a really good score. But I was like, well, you know, it's just more of the same at the end of the day. They're all the same Animal Crossings games. But the thing is, they're just, I don't know. It's just Nintendo, isn't it? They just always score well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I underestimated that.
Anyway, morning. I mean, afternoon. I'll just send it you by Discord if you want it. It says Bib. Oh, okay. There we go. Let's have a... This is a question. See, if I jump onto Bibby's Discord, will I lose the conversation with Luke? Let's find this out. Luke, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yes, there we go.
Hey.
Okay. All right then. Okay, we have Bibby's sheet here, and the fact that he sent it to me makes me instantly think that the scores as they currently stand are in Bibby's favour. So
Always
yeah, we will see.
suspicious.
We will see. So okay, we said it. What was it? 81 on Discord. I think I've just closed it down now. Actually.
On Metacritic, yeah. 81 for Resi.
Yeah, Resident Evil 3 Metacritic for PS4, that's what we've been going from, has 81. So Resident Evil 3 Remake, Pippi says, lol, no. Which I can see. So going through, and to read out the full title, as named by Mr. We've Got Babino in the chat, so as you can tell, the name absolutely slides off the tongue. The name of this competition is the Ice Cream Uploads Presents Metacritic Score Game of 2020. So ICUP, that's what she said, MSG 2020. So we have we do have someone that has it nailed on right now. Someone that isn't on the sheet, so that I believe yes is the only one in there. So okay, Bibby currently has Resident Evil 3 as 95, so no points, Bib. Jiroon has 89, as does Asim Tanvir. Graham Day has 88, so none of us with points. Fatman Dave has a score of 90, as does Rise and Magic Man. And now, the top 3 in terms of people that are closest to the scores are 84 overall is Enix GG. Close, but not close enough. Mr. Bamba says 82, 1 point away. Close, but not close enough. But nailed on exactly on 81 points. Shout out to the big zombie monkey, aka Spike. He's got 81 on the head. So there we go. A full 3 points to Mr. Big Zombie Monkey there. Thank you very much. I'll start that again. Thank you very much for the host, number one pirate. How the devil are you? We just ran through the scores, the Metacritic score predictions for Final Fantasy VII. And Spike has nailed it on the head with a 3 points going to him for getting an accurate guess for Resident Evil 3. He's put 81, and that's exactly what the game is. So, GGG. So that means the current table as it is, Spike is joint first place with 3 points, alongside myself and Next Gen Renegade, Craig Pitt, aka the Gatekeeper TV now, name change in 2020. And then joint second place we have Rise and Asim Tanvir on 1 point. And that comes from Craig getting Doom Eternal's score on the money, me getting Half-Life Alyx on the money, and Spike getting Resident Evil 3 on the money. Asim and Rise share the split points for Animal Crossing 2. But there we go. That is the current cause as it stands. Pirate says, I'm okay, slowly going crazier, but maintaining my sanity with a steady influx of baby selfies. Well, there you go. That's all you need to see the world through. But anyway, that's enough of Resident Evil 3. Let's move into the news, because the first news story of the day is very, very close to home and follows on something that we started talking about last week. But this is an article written by Vikki Blake for Eurogamer, and she says, Report! Resident Evil 8 is first person, takes serious departures, and will be out next year. So essentially, we started with this talking about the next Resident Evil game will be a departure from the series, but we didn't have this level of detail. So this is an update on what we were speaking about last week. And the quote, the tagline says, "Many purists are going to hate it," and that is taken from Dusk Golem, aka Aesthetic Gamer, who essentially said the same thing last week. But we'll jump into the article. It says, "Another day, another Resident Evil leak, and this one concerns not another remake, but the next installment of the celebrated horror franchise, colloquially referred to as Resident Evil 8. Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dusk Golem, the source of many horror-flavoured leaks, including accurate leaks about Resident Evil 3 remake, and those not yet accurate Silent Hill leaks, Konami, as you'd probably expect, refutes them, purports the next installment of the horror series will release next year. Interestingly, Aesthetic Gamer reports that the game started not as a mainline game, but was originally developed as a successor in the Revelations spin-off. However, Capcom and playtest was so impressed by early prototypes that it was co-opted to become the next Resident Evil game. And now within the article we have an embedded tweet that says, okay, so the little game is done. This will be breaking this month with more details later, not by myself, but I've needed to clear some stuff up. Resident Evil 2021 is Resident Evil 8, but it wasn't always RE8. During most of its development, it existed as Revelations 3. And it actually says that within the article, so there we go. Okay. Acknowledging that this differs from his earlier reports, AG said, "The reason I said RE8 was years away earlier this year is last year a Resident Evil 8 was in development, and that one is years away. But Capcom didn't want a huge gap between Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, so the title got pushed to the side for now, and internal testing and such was super positive on Revelations 3. The leaker also reports that Resident Evil 8 will be a cross-gen game, intimating it will come to both current and next-gen systems. It's first person, and many purists are going to hate it because it's taking some serious departures in the story, / enemies and the like, they later added. Hallucinations, occultism, insanity, and not being able to trust others are huge thematics of the game. if Aesthetic Gamer is right, and there is absolutely every chance they're not, of course, this is just a rumour at this point, we should see Resident Evil 8 in 2021. While feeling as though he's coming down a little too hard on the Resident Evil 3 remake in the Eurogamer review, we admitted his expectations were set with the incredible Resident Evil 2 remake in mind, adding Jill is a triumphant character, and there are moments of genuine brilliance here. Oh, there we go. So that's basically just wrapping up their review. So, essentially, Resident Evil 8 was originally touted at being years away. Resident Evil 8 now is being touted at landing in 2021. Did it give a specific one? No, just 2021. So yes, Revelations 3 was in development, has been essentially poached by the main title as opposed to a spin-off game, and now we are much, much closer than originally anticipated if these leaks are anything to go off. Yeah, we're very, very close to having a new Resident Evil 8 game.
Yeah, it's interesting one. I wonder whether Bibby will. I wonder what his thoughts are basically, because is Bibby a purist? Will he be one of these people who get angry by this news? I don't know. I want to know your thoughts, Bibby, if you're in the chat. But because obviously he is the go-to Resi man. I can't really offer too much myself because, like I was saying earlier, I've not played any Resi games, so not properly. It's an interesting one because obviously this came from originally what was it? Originally was Revelations 3. So I guess because it was never going to be originally Resident Evil 8, they're now using they're now saying, oh, it's going to be different to a normal Resident Evil game. It's kind of a weird sort of balancing act, really, because well, we're making it Resident Evil, but it isn't a very Resident Evil game.
Yeah, which is the gist of the conversations we had, because we touched on this on Friday, and there was a meme that I found as we touched on this, and it was in response to that Aesthetic Gamers tweets, and it was like, this is very, very much Capcom. They pull you in. They give you something that you're really excited by, and talking about the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes there, so we get some sort of feeling of a direction that we want to go with the series, and just as they pull you in, they feck it all up. They go somewhere completely different. And yes, Resident Evil 3 hasn't done as well as Resident Evil 2, as we've just seen from the Ice Cream Uploads presents Metacritic Score Game 2020. So we've just seen from that. Resident Evil 3 hasn't scored as highly as Resident Evil 2, but 81 is still a really, really, really good score. 10 is a world-class, flawless game. 9 is almost, but there's some very niggles. 8 is still an exceptional game. Very, very well created, worth playing, but there's just something in it that just doesn't make it pristine. That's essentially what an 8 is. So 81 is there. So yeah, really, really good games. Fans loving it. The fact that Resident Evil 2 was in conversations for Game of the Year means that it's been resoundingly appreciated. And then to have such significant departure, as they use the word departure, from that line of direction, it's maybe I'm not qualified to say it, but from looking at the comments of the hardcore, they were thinking, oh, we're finally getting something that we want now. So to see them taking away from that, you can understand them being hit with a bit of worry. You can't understand them being like kicking off about it, because how can you kick off about something that's not been officially announced and you're nowhere near playing? But but you can understand the worry behind that. If you've just hit if a series that kind of went off the boil, you've just now brought it back, and now if it's going off somewhere different, there's always a little bit of worry to be tinged with that. But we do have comments in the chat now. Bibby says it's an interesting direction to go in, considering how good Resident Evil 2 and 3 have been for them recently. However, the first-person perspective of 7 was brilliant. It can't be asked for the hallucinations angle, though. Fun fact, they went down this road for Resident Evil 4 originally, then they realised it wasn't Resident Evil material, and the basis of the game ended up being Devil May Cry instead. Interesting. Asim says, sounds good to me. All for them trying something new given we've had 2 and 3 remakes for old school stuff. Just hope 8 has a good mix of horror and action, unlike 5 and 6. Yeah, well, 5 and 6 more action. Are they the ones? I mean, I do try to listen to Bibby, but sometimes I just think, oh, do you know what?
Yeah, I know that 7 was well received, and I know that I don't hear much about 5 and 6, which leads me to believe that maybe they weren't received as well. But you would have thought if they were bringing it back in a positive way for 7, then this should really be a follow-on from that good run of form.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah, Bibby talks about 7 quite highly as well. I mean, he has done just there. The first-person perspective of 7 was brilliant. And I watched a little bit of Precision playing 7, which is, I mean, I mention it every time. That's where Poocision, if you ever hear me call him Poocision, that's where it comes from, because he kept pooing his pants. And there was one specific scene with some brown substances leaking from. Anyway, without you get where it's going. You get where it's going. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this aesthetic gamer, aka Dusk Golem, though, because they've clearly had some rumours that they've harsh and Bibby. 5 was pure action, especially co-op. 6 was a weird mishmash, just odd. Yeah, that's the thing where they've had some feedback from some of the more action segments and gone, oh, do you know what, that was really cool. But having good action segments in a game that's built around that horror, it's not the norm, and that's what makes it good. When it's just loud, bombastic stuff all the time, it's just like, okay, more explosions, more shoots, and more bombs and things. It just becomes monotonous, and yeah, I completely agree with that. That's why, I mean, the fact that you had very few grenades and things in Resi 2 made them little events in themselves. So long as Chris isn't punching a boulder into lava, I'm sound. I'm guessing that's a reference that I don't understand. That's fine.
Same.
But yeah, aesthetic gamer. I'm intrigued now, because if this happens, then aesthetic gamer clearly has some contacts.
Yeah.
If not, aesthetic gamer has had some news and has started to essentially create little bits of content around that news and rumours and stuff, built off the back of one successful rumour, essentially. So they've probably had one snippet of actionable information and the rest haven't, because the other bit where it says, Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dusk Golem, the source of many horror-flavoured leaks, including accurate leaks about Resident Evil 3 Remake, and those not yet accurate Silent Hill leaks, purports that the next instalment of the horror series will release next year. But it also says Konami, as you'd expect, refutes those Silent Hill leaks. I mean, nothing out there suggests that is true at this point in time. So are we dealing with someone that's essentially getting... maybe they do have someone on one of the development teams in Capcom that is giving them snippets of information, or maybe someone from the dev team isn't even telling Aesthetic Gamer, they're telling their mate Steve, and Steve's then telling someone who just happens to be Aesthetic Gamer little bits of information.
Could have been a slip up from someone even, and he just got that one bit of information. Suddenly everyone's listening to him and he's like, alright, I've just got to keep this ball rolling now and make up some crap. It's getting me retweets and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of leak accounts anyway. Accounts, when I say that, I mean, if something is out there, something has been leaked, it's your journalistic prerogative. It's in the public domain. You as a journalist are allowed to pick up information that's freely available in the public domain. Sometimes it's respectful to not do that, and that could be for various reasons. But as someone that's creating content with a channel, with the aim of creating a bigger following based on the fact that you're releasing information that shouldn't have been released, and you don't do that under a name, you're doing that under a pseudonym like Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dusk Golem. I mean, this person doesn't even have one name, so the fact that they're leaking genres makes me think that they maybe have some people somewhere that might be well placed enough to give them information that shouldn't be. But yeah, even still, I'd rather not. Whilst we're talking about it now, it does infuriate me a little that we are talking about these serious departures, to the point where I'm thinking a serious departure sounds like a negative to me, and
True.
Is it a negative? As where was the comment? Asim said, all for them trying something new. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not a serious departure. Maybe they're trying something new, and it's all about phrasing. It's all about the connotations that go with that. So yeah, a serious departure is a negative slant on it, and having someone out there putting those phrases into the public domain. This is the second article. This is the second time we've covered this from a different article that has used the phrase serious departure as opposed to something new, and that's it's a little bit pants, but you know what? We'll keep our eye on it anyway. If anything does develop on that, we will run with it. Good afternoon, Enix. Jordan.
Hello, Enix.
I can let you know that you didn't get any points today from the Ice Cream Uploads presents Metacritic Score Game 2020. It's okay. I was well off. Yeah, I think I was as well. I can't actually remember what I had. I think I've closed it down now, actually. No, I had 88, so I was 7 away. You had 84, so you were only 3 away. It's 81 overall on PlayStation, so you were a lot closer than I was. Bibby, on the other hand, 95. So, yeah.
I think that was a bit of optimism from Bibby more than anything.
It's like cosmic ordering. Write it and it will come true. So that's what it's like. Sorry if I'm quiet, just working on some Valorant social media stuff. Oh, nice, GG. As in some stuff for your social media on Valorant, or as in for the Valorant social media? Because if it's the latter one, then, you know what, good effort. And feel free to link Ice Cream Uploads up with a few of the keys, you know, that's what I'm saying. No name dropping there at all. Portfolio stuff. Yeah, I understand. Anyway, let's move forward. We've covered it twice. But let's go from one rumour of a leak to another. Not rumour of a leak, a rumour or leak. Let's go to another. And this one, we spoke about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 being redeveloped on Friday, I believe it was, but we didn't expect... it was last week anyway, but we didn't expect to be talking about rumours again so soon. And the very same day, so 4:45-ish in the afternoon, this article landed on Metro, written by Michael Beckwith, and it says, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remaster multiplayer is in development, claims rumours. So we obviously know the campaign has been remastered and is available now, but the multiplayer is also in development. According to this article, which says Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's remaster was lacking in any multiplayer content, but one source claims that it is on the cards. We had been expecting Activision to release a remastered version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for a while now, and it finally dropped on PlayStation 4 a couple of days ago. However, it was very noticeably lacking in any multiplayer, which is arguably the main reason why people buy the Call of Duty games. While its campaign mode was enjoyable enough, it doesn't really justify the large price tag. I just want to stop there. Campaign is enjoyable enough. It's an amazing campaign. Anyway, it's now believed, though, that the missing multiplayer hasn't been abandoned and will be coming at a later date. This rumour comes from The Gaming Revolution, who has repeatedly leaked Call of Duty information before. They were among the first to leak details to the Battle Royale title Warzone, so they're considered a pretty reputable source. Their claim is that Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is currently in development. They also theorise that the remaster's single-player release was a test to see how the community would respond before considering the multiplayer. When asked if the multiplayer was likely to be added once Modern Warfare 2 is released on Xbox One and PC at the end of the month, they say they doubted it. Activision, in a blog post about Modern Warfare 2's remaster, clarified its reasoning as to why the multiplayer wasn't included, which seemed to rule out adding it in later. And then there's a comment within the article that says, beginning with Modern Warfare last year, the focus has been to bring players together seamlessly in one unified online multiplayer playground, reads the blog. Rather than release a separate multiplayer experience as a standalone pack, Activision and Infinity Ward are looking to bring more classic map experiences to new life within Modern Warfare universe as it continues to grow and build over time. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered is currently available on PS4 and it will release on Xbox One and PC on the 30th of April. I'm just going to read these embedded tweets now. So these are from the Gaming Revolution. It says, my source is insisting right now that Modern Warfare 2 remastered multiplayer is still in development and is still being tested on. And then there's another tweet that says, "Good to hear. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if multiplayer released at the end of the exclusivity, because this whole situation is like identical to Modern Warfare Remastered. 30-day exclusivity PS4 with multiplayer dropping at the end." And then the response to that says, "I doubt that early, because everyone could call Activision a liar. They need to wait long enough so they can claim they just started work on it. Lol." Interesting. It's a weird situation, is that?
Definitely, yeah. I'm not sure what to believe really, because you know, like they say, Activision basically denied that it was going to happen. So you know, what's changed? What's made them think, you know, actually we'll make a multiplayer. Well, it could be like they say, maybe they wait a little bit longer and then release it. I mean, again, this isn't hugely my forte. I realise that I'm talking about a couple of really big franchises here that I don't know much about, Resident Evil and Call of Duty. But you know, what I do understand is Call of Duty is, I mean, like you say, this campaign is a great campaign, but let's face it, most of the time Call of Duty is about its multiplayer. So I find it surprising that they didn't include it in the first place. I don't really know there. Maybe.
Yeah, well, first of all, that bit there about the multiplayer is enjoyable enough. Modern Warfare 2's campaign was amazing, and it included, like, I mean, the use of the word's probably not the best when you talk about some of the earlier missions. So obviously there's a particular mission called No Russian, which was of a source of great contention when the first game came out, because you essentially are in a group of soldiers rocking up into an airport, and you then start essentially laying down gunfire into civilians. You can choose to do that. You can't stop that happening, and that was a huge part, a huge source of contention at that point in time for a lot of people, because obviously we're in a world where it's not inconceivable that could happen, and there has been similar situations and things. Between then and now, which means that I even read an article. I think it was I don't know if it might have been on VG247, that was kind of saying that going back over the No Russian mission now is quite sobering in the fact that it has slightly different meanings for it, but it's still very, very powerful. If anything, they say it's actually quite uncomfortable to play it now. But the fact that video games, I think video games should exist to make you feel uncomfortable, should exist to push your emotional boundaries, and those are the experiences and stuff that whether it's a good experience or a bad experience is uncomfortable in a funny way, in an emotive way, or whatever. The fact that it's such a strong big story. I apologize if the lighting's just dropped for you guys as well. The sun has literally just disappeared. And I do have my lights on, so it's good. Yeah, anyway, so summarising that as enjoyable enough. Enjoyable enough is just a bit. I'm not so sure about that. However, we'll let that slide. But yeah, I can't see it. If you are like, where is the actual wording? I can't find the actual wording. But essentially, Activision have said, yeah, that was it. Oh, that was it. Yes, beginning rather than release a separate multiplayer experience as a standalone pack, Activision and Infinity Ward are looking to bring more classic map experiences to new life within the Modern Warfare universe as it continues to grow and build over time. That just sounds like that is a definitive for me. It's an absolute. There is no like grey area there. We don't want a separate release. We want everyone in one space. We don't want to dilute the audience and split them out across Modern Warfare maps and split them out across Modern Warfare 2 remastered maps. It's Modern Warfare 2, two separate player pools, dilutes the audience. People don't get the same gameplay experience. So the sum of the parts is weaker than what it would have been if you add them all together, essentially. Put them all together into one big finished product. And everyone's happy. That's the idea that they're saying. So if they're saying that while simultaneously working on a separate campaign remastered, it just sounds a separate multiplayer remastered element. It just sounds absolutely bizarre to me.
Yeah, it is. just sounds hypocritical, doesn't it? It sounds like, oh, we want this, we want to bring everyone together in a multiplayer experience, but we're making this super separate. Like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't. That said, just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean it's not true. I mean, it could absolutely happen. They could. I mean, there's quite a few ways they could spin that narrative. Well, we decided that people didn't want to have Terminal or whatever in rotation with all of the Modern Warfare maps. They just wanted it as Modern Warfare 2. They didn't want any of the 2020 maps. They just wanted the 2012, 13, whatever it was, maps, 2011. I can't, whatever year it was. They just want those maps. So understandably so, they could just say, actually, we decided we listened to your feedback. They could do any of that sort of stuff to change it. But yeah, it just seems a bit odd after having such definitive wording saying that they aren't going to release it as a standalone pack. But there we go. Imagine multiplayer will come out when it's out for Xbox and PC. The exclusive deal with PlayStation was probably for single player. They doubt it. Are you talking about the leakers? What was it? What was the name of the leaker? Gaming Revolution. I doubt it. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I can't decide. Do I think it's all bullshit and it's something that maybe was in talks? Is it just rumors? Is it just hearsay that people are running with? Could be. But could it just be that Activision have been pressed for a statement and they've thrown one out and everyone's sat there going, fuck, we are working on it. It's still, I mean, I know we said we weren't going to, but we are working on it. It still could go out and the PR guy's going, fuck, you never told me. I didn't think it. I mean, I can imagine that in a small firm, people are communicating. It would be bizarre to me for them to release that and then within days, people are confirming that they're working on a standalone multiplayer element for Modern Warfare 2. If it was months later and they've had time to be reactive and gone, okay, we'll start the development strings and we'll create a separate standalone content, you don't have the plan for a separate piece of content to go gold, be that as a disc or just a digital download. You don't just go from like Friday to now and have that as a fully fleshed out plan that's in development. It's a long period of time. So if they have said that last Friday, then they can't say that they've done it as a result of being reactive. There is no way that they can do it. So, which then just makes me think, why is that being said? So now my poor fragile.
I know, it's so confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you couldn't be that quick and reactive at the best of times, but especially given the current climate as well. Everyone's sort of like working remotely, no doubt, or whatever. Unless someone's like gone rogue in their own office or whatever and just started creating a multiplayer. But...
Yeah, we're not doing it as a standalone thing, and then Clive stands up at the back of the office. Guys, you do realise I've literally been doing that for like 6 months now. It's like, oh fuck!
You hired me to do this, remember?
Yeah, you literally just said just go and work on Modern Warfare, like remastering Modern Warfare 2. So yeah, I've done it all. It's like, fuck's sake, Clive. Oh, I thought you were just chatting. I didn't realise that you were actually issuing the press release. Oh fuck! God. Yeah. Now, like you say, especially with everything that's going on right now, there's no way that they could have just churned that out. Clive wouldn't be sat in the office ignoring everyone. Clive would be sat at home cracking on with it. Or he should be if he wants to stay at home and save lives. Which now gives me a cheesy tangent, cheers Clive, into something not on our shores, but it's games related, so we'll talk about it anyway. GameStop has been ordered to close in Massachusetts, USA, after retailers resisted closure demands. This is once again written by Vikki Blake for Eurogamer, and this one says, employees were told to wear gloves or even tape plastic bags over their hands. I'm just going to minimise the article to say, the fuck? Okay. US specialist retailer GameStop has been ordered by state officials in Massachusetts to close its stores throughout the state. While the retailer insists it's an essential business as it prepares curbside pickups for customers and should remain open, state officials issued nuisance citations and ordered the chain to close on Tuesday, according to the Boston Globe. Thanks, Polygon. Officials also visited stores on Wednesday to ensure the store had complied. And now we have a quote saying, after instructing employees to wrap their hands in plastic bags and go back to work, GameStop shuts down aka Massachusetts stores, and that's the Globe's headline. Though many retailers abided with instructions to close, GameStop defended its decision to remain open by stating it sold products and devices that are important to facilitate remote work, distance learning, and virtual connectivity. And according to Polygon, told its employees to wear gloves or even take plastic bags over their hands, open the front door only slightly while keeping its glass between them and the customer, and handing over whatever they had ordered through the crack. Nice professionalism there. Anyway, at the time of writing, GameStop has not commented on what it intends to do with the other 4,000 stores it has open in America, or indeed across the world. A number of specialist video game retailers came into heavy criticism recently for choosing to keep their stores open despite social distancing rules recommended by governments across the world. Whilst GameStop eventually bowed to pressure and shuttered some stores and moved to contactless pickups, UK retailer Game was not amongst the firms that had voluntarily halted operations following the government's announcement that all bars and restaurants would be closed. Many Game stores, including Argos, Currys, CEX and Smiths, elected to remain open across the UK. Game did eventually announce it would be closing its Belong arenas in light of the government's social distancing guidelines, but initially insisted it would keep its retail stores open, a deeply concerning prospect for many of its frontline staff. GameStop recently confirmed it's closing at least 320 stores over the next 12 months. The company had already closed 321 stores as part of restructuring efforts in the financial year ending February 2020, and now a similar number of its 5,500 stores are expected to shut by the end of this financial year too. The closures come in spite of the company reporting a net income of $21 million at the end of the last financial year, and with the company insisting that these store closures are a very specific and proactive part of our de-densification plan, and they are not related to recent business trends related to the coronavirus pandemic. At the time of writing, it's unclear which territories will be impacted, but the company has stores in 14 different countries, including Austria, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Ireland, Norway, Switzerland, and Sweden. Plastic bags.
I know, right? And you know, like you say, just passing the goods through the door and stuff like that. It sounds more like some sort of drug dealer operation than games. Bizarre, honestly. I don't know what America as a whole, what their sort of rules have been. Exactly. I missed the article, I missed it, but how are they doing it? Are they sort of doing different rules by different states, sort of thing?
I believe that is the case. Yeah, I believe so. Like New York, I think fairly early on went on lockdown, but I could be wrong. If anyone in the chat knows, please feel free to let us know. But I'm fairly sure that is the case.
Sounds sensible. Yeah, I know that they were the worst hit sort of thing. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just companies getting greedy, isn't it? And as much as I love video games, I'm not here to suggest that they're really a vital service, in my opinion. You know.
No, I would agree. Video games are a form of life in terms of they are a form of enjoyment. They can help you enjoy your life in many ways, be it accentuate things that you've done, or be it escaping things that you don't want to do. Video games are a huge part of life, but you do not give up life to have video games. It's baffling that is a thing. I mean, part of me wants to play because I feel like everyone in this chat and myself and yourself are going to be, do you know what? That is bullshit. Having to wear plastic bags taped around your hands and having crack den motives of playing like sticking your games through the crack in the door rather than touching anyone and so on. Just sounds. I know we're all going to say that's just absolutely bullshit and it shouldn't be happening. I will then play devil's advocate then and say, what if GameStop has just closed 320 stores, and they're going to close. They closed 321. They're going to close another 320. And that is based finally on maths. Yes, they had a $21 million net income, which is quite a nice income, £16.8 million. However, £16.8 million doesn't go very far if you're spreading that across a workforce across hundreds of stores. So maybe they are teetering on the edge. They are on a knife point, and they think, okay, if we close this extra 320 stores, so that's 640 will have closed. If we close those, we'll be at a point where we have a good level to build off into the future. However, those maths are based on us being profitable for the next 6 months and leading up to that point, or whatever. So you have to think that maybe that is where it's coming from. The reason they are pulling these bullshit measures, and the reason they're trying to force people to work in situations where they shouldn't be working, is because if they don't have them working in those situations, then they won't have them working in any situations going forward. However, that's where my devil's advocate stops. It's like, that's a long way of saying maybe they need to keep in business to keep in business. But you don't keep in business to provide people a living after coronavirus if you've killed them all during coronavirus. It's kind of irrelevant
exactly,
at that point.
Yeah, and I think the devil's advocate argument is still just an argument that can be thrown at any company really that has done the duty and closed up. So I think they should follow.
Yeah, it's baffling, and the worst thing about it is you can see where the line of idiocy completely becomes just bizarre. It's like, okay, we should stay trading so that we can keep our employees running, keep the business running, and make sure we've got something to come back to. Okay, I get that. Okay, we should keep trading, and we should have a reserved sort of service, so we're not just having people coming in and out of the shops and things. Okay, I can get that. We should have a service where we have almost like a letterbox set up where we're passing the games through minimal contact, no exposure, and things like that. Okay, it's starting to get a bit far-fetched, but I can see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. Okay, and then on top of that, we should have gloves and stuff. Yeah, okay. What if people don't have gloves? Plastic bags, just wrap them around you, and it's like having a glove, just a big floppy glove. Then it's like, mate, you've literally, you started off going down, even the first bit we should keep open, that was already going down the wrong path, but you've gone so far down it that you want people running around looking like the Michelin Man, just posting games through cracks of doors. No.
Yeah, I know, and they'll be reporting that best case scenario almost, from their point of view of looking like they're trying to stick to the measures and stuff. In reality, that door will probably be opening far more often, and not everyone will be wearing the plastic bags because it's a stupid thing in the first place. So I think employees will be more at risk than what they're letting on as well.
And not only that, if you're opening the door through a crack, you said, thinking about it, for me, if there was a crack in a door, I think you're kind of getting closer to people because you're putting it through a little bit, as opposed to like opening the door fully, putting it on the floor in the middle of the door and standing back and go, okay, you can pick it up now, and then bugger off, and then disinfecting stuff rather than just closing it out. That's not how germs don't go. Oh, sorry, it's only a small gap in the door. I'm not gonna. Sorry, I've got to wait until I'm invited in. Yeah. I can't believe you're like fat shaming germs. God's sake, God. A comment I have seen in the chat that I kind of looked at a few times and thought, do you know what? Do I? But yeah, let's read it out. Jordan says, plastic bags on your hands like using a crisp packet as a condom.
Yeah, that's what it's poetic.
So for those of you that haven't met Jordan, now you don't need to. Just if he offers you a crisp, do not take one. If he offers you a crisp, do not take one. Anyway, let's go from a company that's not doing particularly great when it comes to the coronavirus and how to look after their employees with it, and let's go to a company that, arguably has a bit. By the way, I'm not that weird. Just a warning for everyone. Yeah, of course, mate. Let's go to a company that arguably has a better way of dealing with coronavirus. I mean, I say arguably, completely different businesses, so one can't do the same as the other. But anyway, here we are. This is written by Nathan Grayson for Kotaku UK, and it says, Mixer gifts all partnered streamers $100 to help during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just going to blow my nose with it. Bear 1 second.
Clip that.
It's all right. Only you get the audio in the ears. I mute it for the stream, but you get the joy. So yes, Even for streamers who can comfortably do their jobs from inside their homes, seemingly indefinitely, it's impossible to ignore COVID-19. Before it's all said and done, everybody will be impacted. To help streamers make ends meet, Microsoft-owned Mixer has given all of its partners $100, or £81.42 if you want another conversion rate at the time of this article being written last week. Anyway, any Mixer streamer can apply to be a partner, and if they clear various viewership and professionalism hurdles, they gain access to new monetization options, emotes, early access to new features, and other perks. Now, Mixer has gifted all of its partners $100 to help them through these nauseatingly uncertain times even. Streamers have taken to Twitter to express their gratitude. Any gesture is helpful and so kind, said one of Mixer's biggest streamers, Corey King Goliath Michael, who moved over from Twitch last year. Who knows what Mixer partner $100 could make or break for. Thank you, Mixer, for taking care of your partners and giving us extra during this hard time, said another partner, Lekake. Yeah, okay. Many others echoed those sentiments. Some, like Shoutcaster Excellion and Fortnite and cosplay streamer Lindsay Wood, have said they plan to donate their money to smaller, non-partnered Mixer streamers. It makes sense that Mixer would do this. In addition to streaming, some smaller Mixer partners still work regular jobs and are trying to hang on to them as unemployment soars. Streamers also make a big chunk of their money off subscriptions and donations from fans. And as times get tougher and people starting to tighten their belts, it's unlikely that regular payments to streamers will keep flowing. While few people would flat out refuse free money, some people on Twitter have criticised Mixer, which again is owned by goddamn Microsoft, for the relatively paltry sum. Admittedly, it's being paid out to thousands of partners, but even then, it doesn't add up to all that much for a company that has deeper pockets than almost any other. During a period in which many companies are furiously cutting costs and laying off workers, it's something. This has caused Twitch partners to wonder if the streaming kingpin will similarly see fit to toss a chunk of change their way. Twitch is owned by Amazon, so it could likely afford to do so, even though its roster of 41,812 partners is more vast than that of Mixer, a significantly smaller platform. Kotaku reached out to Twitter to ask if it has any plans to provide assistance to streamers during the pandemic, but as of this publishing, it had yet to reply. In the meantime, streamers are suggesting initiatives Twitch could undertake to help keep them afloat. Maybe Twitch could help creators by giving them a better split on subscriptions, or remove excess purchase fees on bits. Just a thought. Personally, don't need it, but certainly some do, said StarCraft 2 streamer and pro Gosu PvP on Twitter. It'd be great if they incentivise some kind of sale on subs, bits, or whatever to help out, said Twitch partner The Geek Chick. I want to believe they have something in the works, but with Amazon pulling the strings, it's tough. Thoughts, Luke?
Okay. So I'm not going to say it's bad, obviously, that Mixer are giving $100 to people, because it's very nice. But it's a bit of a weird one, because one of my first sort of thoughts is of all kinds of businesses out there and stuff like that, I think Twitch and Mixer are probably seeing a bit of a boom at the moment, if anything. I kind of get the argument of what they're saying, that some people will be tightening the belts and whatnot, but from what I've been watching a lot of Twitch this last couple of weeks, and I've seen a lot of people sort of like get a load of donations and stuff. I can't help but think that it's a publicity stunt as well. It's a kind of a way of making them look good. I mean, you know, I don't want to say that it's a bad thing, because it's a nice gesture, but there's a little bit of cynicism in my mind at the same time about it as well.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. A couple of levels of cynicism. The fact that Mixer is given $100 doesn't go very far for a lot of those streamers anyway. So if they're going to pay it forward, I mean, you could kind of call that. A lot of the top streamers will get $100 donations multiple times a stream. So getting £81, whilst it's every little helps, it guarantee it does to a lot of streamers. £81 to the top end, it's just going to be like, oh, great, it's nice, but you're almost paying for a conversation. You're paying for airtime. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It's. And yeah, they aren't singing it. They're allowing others to sing it, but it's almost definitely going to lead to a conversation. You are paying essentially media outlets. Look, here's some goodwill. I get it. I do get that's not what they're badging it as, and fair enough, it may just purely be a goodwill thing, but like the article says, $100 doesn't go too far. How do they figure out where that line stops and starts? So I'm thinking, do they give you more dollars for being bigger? Do you therefore deserve more? But then a lot of people say, well, if you're bigger, you get more anyway. So surely it's the smaller ones. But then does that the political conversation of, okay, well, if you're a partner and you've just been partnered and you're pretty small versus Ninja on Mixer, he as a media value has more value than you. So does he get more money, or do you, being in need of more money, get more money because he has enough? And then that's where you get the sort of like, is that a communist sort of way of saying it? Is like, well, he doesn't need it as much as you do, so therefore you get it. That's not any form of equality. That's more communism. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to see something be given out. That's not questionable. Relay, the fact that they are giving something to people that are helping their service, they're giving it to every single partner regardless of their size and scale. It's nice. It's not going to change the world, but it's a nice little bit of extra. So fair play for that. But then you start to get into conversations, and then that's where you start to, I just think, just back off. It's irrelevant. Where this has also caused Twitch partners to wonder if the streaming kingpin will similarly see fit to toss a chunk of change their way. No, I'm not asked. I mean, it's irrelevant. It's a different business. If Twitch now have to throw out some money because Mixer have done it, they're not doing charitable things for charity. They're doing charitable things to stay relevant in a separate race, and then that's where it doesn't matter. That is irrelevant. The fact that Twitch has much more partners and so on, and is run by Amazon, which is a separate company, as opposed to like in terms of, you say Mixer and you say Microsoft, you say Xbox, you say the whole thing together. You say Twitch, even though it's owned by Amazon, you say Twitch is owned by Amazon. It's not Twitch and Amazon are best buds and stuff. Yes, you do get the crossover with Prime and things like that, but there's so many differences. The business model is different. The size of the business is different. The fact that it's a charitable donation, they shouldn't be made to donate to charity to be seen to be keeping up with the Joneses. They should want to do something that supports their community. So yeah, it's amazing how what's on the surface is a nice thing. Microsoft is giving money to the people that support its business to make sure that they're just a little bit better off going forward. And I can't help but take the whole thing with a little bit of negativity. It's weird.
Yeah, same. Yeah, even if it was, maybe it's even a marketing thing or a wording thing to an extent, where if Mixer were just like, look, we're just sort of we realise it's a tough time at the moment, etc., etc. We're giving $100 just to I don't know, like almost just not like, I don't really like the wording of to help you along, because it's kind of a small amount and it's going towards people that potentially are still earning. It'd be better if they were just sort of like, here's a little money on us, like, here's around on us sort of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of wording is what I'm trying to get at, but I can't quite think of the right way of putting it.
Yeah, maybe it's the article. Maybe it's the way that this has been written in this article on Kotaku, like to help streamers make ends meet. $100 doesn't make very many ends meet, so that potentially is it. And then potentially it's a little bit further on where, like, it's doing the Microsoft versus Twitch kind of Microsoft versus Amazon, Mixer versus Twitch. Are Twitch partners going to get anything? And it says, like, this is also caused Twitch partners to wonder if the streaming kingpin will give stuff, blah, blah, blah. But yet there is nothing within the article that says, are Twitch partners going to get the same? It does go on a little bit to say maybe Twitch could do different things in terms of giving a better split on subscriptions and so on like that. And that for me is much better. And I think that's where this article should be sort of focusing on. It's like, if we give you a split on subscriptions, you are seeing a tangible increase based on performance. It's not a charitable handout that doesn't benefit you going forward. It's just okay, if you put more effort into your streams, which gives you the distraction, the escapism from the outside world. So if you spend time planning, building, delivering a series of streams or one long stream or whatever it is that sees an uptick in the number of subscriptions, you will see an uptick in the amount of profit that you get from that. That is a tangible cost benefit, as opposed to just, okay, there's 81 quid. Jog on. That for me is the better way of doing it. But I think it's just the way that it's proposed in the article. It's kind of, it undermines what Mix is giving or what Mix is doing, and then almost sees it as a greedy land grab as to how Twitch can do something the same, or not even greedy land grab. It's either greedy, as in if streamers want it and are begging for it, or it's more forceful of, okay, what are you gonna do for them as well? It's Anyway, if you're a Mixer streamer, you're probably not watching us live on Twitch, but you could be just lurking because the world's best podcast, aka the UK's #1 gaming podcast, self-proclaimed on Twitch.
Exactly. You can just go watch the best podcast in the world and go back to your Mixer every day. And, I was just looking up Mixer Twitter account as well, actually, on my screen, just to see whether they'd actually tweeted anything themselves and see how they worded it. But I can't even see that they have, to be honest. They link to some blog all the way down somewhere, which some Mixer Community Digest thing, which it might be on there. But they've basically not made a big song and dance about it by the look of it.
Interesting. Maybe that's it then. Maybe Mixer were just doing it as a quiet. There you go. There's 100 quid, and that article's sensationalized it a little bit in terms of starting to bring the debate of one versus the other, which is a natural way you'd go. I mean, that's where I would go to as my default. When I start talking about Mixer, I compare that to Twitch, but we are Twitch partners, so that's kind of what you'd expect. That's where my relevance is. That's where the relativity is to me. But I don't feel it was needed within that article. But there we go. Something that has been covered quite clearly, though, this is a nice tangent, is the fact that E3 isn't happening this year, but it is happening next year, and the ESA has announced its dates for E3 2021. But before I jump into that, I'll jump into the comments. Mixer's not doing a bad thing, but yeah, it is a marketing tool. I mean, most of it is. Most things like that are marketing different ways. There's taxable write-offs. There is just general promotion. By doing something like that en masse, you make all the partners talk about it. You urge people to push for partnership and stuff like that. Yeah, so there is a lot of marketing with it, whether that is the main reason for it or not. But I didn't like the way that it trivialized the amount of money, said that Microsoft is a business with some of the biggest pockets in the world, so should pay more. The thing is, if Microsoft hadn't have paid any, they wouldn't have been getting stick for that. So that's kind of like they're doing wrong for doing right. If they had done nothing, then they wouldn't have got anything. So it's like, yeah, you've only given me 80 quid though, haven't you, mate? You might as well not have bothered. so that's where my angle. That's the reason why it feels like it's a negative for me. It's like.
Sorry, I've just had a random memory about a time where I gave a beggar a quid and then he was like, "Can you not give me 2?" In Manchester, like, cheeky git. But yeah, it's a bit like that, really, isn't it?
You just got. Actually, 1 second. Let me just pass me that one back and give you the wrong one, and then you just walk off with it like, ta-da!
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, like you say, beggars can't be choosers. He clearly could. Anyway, I was on a tangent into this, so let's stick with it. So the ESA has announced dates for E3 2021. This is written by Stephany Nunneley for VG247, and E3 organizer the ESA has confirmed dates for next year's event. The Entertainment Software Association has announced dates for E3 2021. According to the announcement made with partners overnight, the annual show will take place on June the 15th to the 17th. Like E3 2020, organisers are working on a reimagined show for 2021. E3 2020 was cancelled due to COVID-19 coronavirus, and at the time, the ESA said it was exploring options with members to coordinate an online experience to showcase industry announcements and news in June 2020. E3 2020 was already looking doubtful after publishers and the media showed a lack of support for this year's event. Sony's PlayStation once again decided to skip the show. Jeff Keighley announced that he will not produce E3 Coliseum or participate in the event this year. And the organisers, retail and production partner for E3 2020, I Am 8-Bit, also dropped out. In light of the cancellation, companies such as Devolver Digital, Nintendo, Microsoft and Ubisoft said digital events were in the planning for the months ahead. Thanks, GI.biz. So there we go. We know that E3 2021 is happening 15th to the 17th of June 2021.
Let's hope it is anyway.
Yes.
Let's hope this doesn't drag out for a year.
Oh, goddamn.
But yeah, that's. I guess it's not surprising you. Nothing new there really, but it's just nice to get that confirmation. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the. How did it put it? Digital sort of outputs, whatever from PlayStation, etc. At least we'll get something, in some form.
Yeah, sorry, I was just updating the discussing now. So I've just put COVID mixer donations E3 2021, as in we can still keep talking about the mixer donating and the ESA bit there. But yeah, hopefully we'll be well on the way to forgetting COVID-19 and the coronavirus by the time June the 15th to the 17th 2021 comes along, because I think the amount of hair that my body can create on a weekly basis, by the time it gets there, if I've not had a haircut, I will look like actual cousin it. So yeah.
I'm interested to see like whether it will have this coronavirus will have like a genuine like impact on fashion or something. Like everyone just starts looking like they're from the 70s again. Get this sort of John Lennon sort of look going on. But yeah, with complete face masks. Hopefully designer face masks. Well, I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's where the business angle is. If you want to be an absolute capitalist, then Gucci face masks. There we go. A little bit Louis Vuitton on. Like, yeah, job's good. But speaking of COVID, Pep's mum has just passed away from the virus. As in, I'm assuming that's Pep Guardiola. Yeah, she has. 82 years old. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those kind of stories where like grandmas or whatever passed away from it. Yeah, it's happening to real people.
Shows you that it's not just a cold.
Aye.
But yeah, anyway, trying to not be disrespectful. Let's not stay on that too much. Let's just go back into the conversations that we were having, such as Enix saying I've accidentally cut some of my hair. Questions?
Many questions.
How do you accidentally cut it? Tell us more. And what hair? I mean, are we talking chin hair? Are we talking head hair? I wouldn't know. How is that even possible?
Accidentally took my razor and shoved it on my head.
I was actually. If anybody has any recommendations for hair clippers, then please feel free to let me know, because I was looking at a few the other day and I found a few different ones, anywhere between 20 and like hundreds of pounds. But obviously, I was looking at less than 100. Obviously, we were looking at this. There's a good. Is it Wahl? WAHL? Val? Whatever. I've seen some of those, and I've seen those being used in like Val. There we go. Wahl. However you pronounce it. Val is good. I've seen them. I think one of my local barbershops has those, so that's why I thought, oh, that's decent. And there's one that's supposedly really decent. That's like 50 quid, but it's cabled and you know, I kind of want cordless so I can do the face fuzz without having to use the shaver, because hair clips on the beard is just next level for me, by the way. Anyway, so there's that, and then I've seen something else called like a Carmin T70, which I've seen the reviews and it's really good, and their social media is on point. They keep giving discount codes, and I'm thinking, yeah. But the reviews are really good, but all the reviews were written on the exact same day in 2018, which makes me think it could be some crappy knockoff product that has just filled their own online review space with their own reviews. So Janet in accounts has written one, Steve in BizDev or whatever has written one. So I'm just thinking, yeah. So yeah, if anyone has any specific products, then feel free to let us know.
I can't remember what I've got like a beard trim. I think it comes with a couple of extra like different head types or whatever that you can use on like hair, I think, as well. But it won't be like an amazing one. I don't know if I would risk it myself on my hair at the moment, but maybe if it gets desperate, I will. And it would just be me doing it as well. I won't have any help, so it'll just be me in the mirror. I think it'll all go desperately wrong. But I can't remember what make it is. It might be like a Philips, or I don't know, just like a fairly sort of like general but well-known make. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, I've got a decent enough beard trimmer that goes up to a reasonable length, but I usually leave a chunk on top, so I'd need like at least a 5 guard, and then like maybe a 1 for the sides. With I don't know what to use, a 2 and a 3 for the blending or whatever, or just the 3. I don't know. Either way, Danielle will cut my hair, and it's all going to look perfect, and it's not going to look heartbreaking at all. Yeah.
Be wearing a hat as you are for everywhere.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean, it's funny you say that because I've got a hat on now, and then if I just lean to the side, you can see I've got a baseball cap there, and 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 there's a beanie cap there, and there's a bit. So yeah, I've just kind of like been baseball capping every day because I'll show you. I'll show you the embarrassment on stream. There you go. It's hat hair at the moment, but it's not too bad now. I got my hair cut just before all the coronavirus stuff started, but I'm at the point where the side of my head is needing a trim, and the side of my head is where it all is. So yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, it was the worst possible time for me. I was thinking about getting a haircut because I needed one weeks before the coronavirus stuff started happening. So now it's like it's almost, if I wait a few weeks longer, the sides will get past almost the worst bit, and I'll start to get sort of like these Liam Gallagher-esque sort of like side turny sort of hair bits will start coming down past my ears. At the moment, they're just sort of like my ears get in the way and just sort of push them outwards with my glasses as well, so it just looks stupid. But yeah, I don't know. I almost just want to see what it looks like now. I'll just keep growing it.
Well, I was talking to Mr. Jonathan Edwards from PlayStation, aka Sony, and I was talking to him the other day. He had his haircut on Saturday, I think it was, by his missus. And yeah, he was saying same thing to you. I was saying it's all right because I got my haircut like just a couple of days before the lockdown happened and everything was forced to close. He was like, yeah, I was at the point where I needed my haircut, or I'd usually get my haircut, but with everything that was kind of ongoing and things being cancelled and not on whatever, that it's pretty much gone to the point. His point of no return was like 3 weeks after his usual sort of thing. And that's where it has to be cut by. But that's when the lockdown happened. So he's just kind of said he was going into like a poof. But yeah, but he's now gone full on, like shaved on the sides and stuff, and it looked pretty decent. Fair play to him. So yeah. Long story short, if you have any clippers, get us all linked up. We could do with the ice cream sort of like manscaping setup. You know, we'll share all the links, particularly ones where we get ad revenue, i.e. none of them. But yes, feel free to let us know.
Or just show us pictures of your hair gone wrong or looking stupid as well on Twitter. We'd just like it for the laughs.
I mean, pictures of your hair looking stupid. Let's just all spam pictures of bib. I'm joking. Shaving my beard and went too far. No sideburns. Then went into some of the sides. Do you have a val or a wall or a wal or whatever? How do you actually pronounce it? Do you have any of those, Enix? Because if you've shaved off, that one. Do you have any of those, or are you using a different one? Because I mean, that could be a sign for how good it is. Look, you can just absolutely lose half your hair in one go.
We'll definitely blame the make there, not the for Phoenix's sake.
Excuse me. Your audio was in and out then. I didn't hear what you said then.
Sorry, yeah, I was only half under my breath actually, just trying to read Enix's thing. It's good, but remember, I have my sides shaves one, so not much to it.
I have a 1 on the back and sides as well, to be fair. Although it's a 1 fade, I fade down to 1 from the top. So, yeah. Well, yeah, maybe I'll go that. Bib says Sam is going to cut my hair tomorrow. Okay, so therefore, live haircut on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads as Bibby gets butchered for your viewing pleasure. No options about it, Bib. Your hair is getting absolutely buzzed on stream. Yeah. I want to see a full-on beans stream as well. I did say I was going to stream it. You absolutely goddamn right. Yeah, we need to see this. And also, we'll set up charitable donations. So, like, for every extra £100 bracket that we break, the guard goes down 1. So he starts off on like a 5 and then drops down to a 4. And then if we break £1,000, then you can select, like, do we just shave on a 1 down the middle and leave just the wings? So he's like a like a Prodigy Firestarter kind of going on. I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
He's a Firestarter.
Exactly. Basically, Bibby isn't a good streamer if he doesn't accept this challenge.
I mean, I'd say he's probably not a good person if he doesn't accept this challenge.
Yeah, I'll go that far.
As well as streamer and stuff. One on the sides and scissors on the top, which means Sam will shave the fucking lot off. Yeah! Just gonna go oops, up, oh no, it's all gone. Oh no. Oh no. But anyway, we've spoken about hair and stuff. Or he could do my chunks missing. Oh, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Fatman Dave 8472 in the chat is my brother. And so many times David would have just a bzz, like lump taken out the top of his head where there'd be like a stray hair or something that was missed on the initial shave. But so for those of you that don't know how to cut hair in the most basic possible way, say you stick a 3-guard on or whatever and you just do the whole head, you're left with like a round fuzzy head, but that's what we were pretty much like as kids growing up. Then you'd go down to no guard to do all this shaping up on the edges and stuff. Quite often our parents decided to, oh look, there's one long hair on the top we missed, let's just shave it again. But no guard, which meant like ball patch. So many times David had that, so haha sucker. Instead my mum decided to like, do you know the round sort of cut that you get that goes behind your ear? Yeah, my mum used to do that, but it looked more like this. Never mind being round. My head was so much like, it was like a dodecahedron or whatever it is. It was a sight to be seen. Anyway, but I think we'll wrap things up there. I think we are done for the day. The gist of the news for those that may have been late in is that there is an E3. Not this year. Well, maybe if they ever sort the digital stuff out. But E3 2021 is going ahead 15th to the 17th of June. A Resident Evil game could be joining E3 next year as well, as Resident Evil 8, a potential Revelation spin-off and a first-person shooter, is potentially going to be coming next year. As well as that, Microsoft has been giving out $100 gifts to its partners to help with COVID-19. Whilst GameStop has been telling its employees to wear plastic bags on their hands. If you want to know any more about that, then feel free to check out the video on demand. If not, we will be going live with the full show on YouTube at some point later in the day. And there will also be 4 different audio podcasts, because that's what we do. We stream live on twitch.tv/icecream uploads. We turn this into a video podcast on YouTube, and then audio podcasts going out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Play. You can get all of the content from our social media. The links will be posted out when they go live. It could be later on this evening for the audio podcasts, or it could be early in the day before we go live with the afternoon edition of The Scoop tomorrow. Things are a little bit up in the air for COVID, but you believe in us, we believe in you, and that's what matters. That's what matters. And then the other story that we didn't touch on was that Call of Duty multiplayer could be being remastered too. But we will leave you all of that stuff to digest and have a little bit of a chat amongst yourselves. You know that's how it works. But yeah, anything you want to add before we disappear for the day, Luke or Rudy?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, hope that everyone wasn't too disturbed just looking at a picture of my still face for the last hour and a half or whatever. But yeah, it's a pleasure. Hope everyone's doing well.
Sweet. Okay, well, if you do stumble across any news stories, obviously we will bring them all together. I said we. Bib will bring them all together tomorrow. But if there's anything additional, something from your realm that you may have seen that we might not have done, then feel free to drop them to us at Ice Cream Uploads on Twitter. I'm at Graham_Day. Luke is at Jeroen. And Ice Cream Uploads, bizarrely enough, is at Ice Cream Uploads. There you go. I'm not joking. I was going to say at We've Got Babinho. You can drop in one as well, but you don't have to, whatever. It's just not even bothered turning in today, so whatever. Anyway, we are going to drop out for the day. What does anybody know anyone to raid? Who should we raid? I'm just having a quick look at the channel, and none of our friendlies are online. So let's go into. Do you know what? We will raid because we've been speaking about them. We will raid Blue and Queenie, we met them at the Twitch party. So the Twitch Christmas mixer, which is quite a bizarre thing. The fact that Twitch had a mixer, what the fuck? But yes, have yourselves a very lovely day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, please feel free to stick around while we do the raid, just because it's nice to send a few people over to someone else's channel. We will do that after we drop the screen on. But as you can see from the emotes in the chat, from Mr. Asintanvia and we've got Babinho, have yourselves a very, very lovely day. And please remember to stay frosty.